On. Okay. Perfect. All right. So, all the respected people out here, my name is Rajesh Salve, and I'm a director of a company called Brainmark Dermatoglyphics. Me and my wife, we both run this company together. And my wife is a clinical psychologist. Earlier, she was practicing for almost about 18 years. And in the meanwhile, the subject has come up to her. That's all about inborn strength and weaknesses. And that made us, to enter into this business. That was the time when I was working with a company, with the insurance company, and was heading rest of Maharashtra, living aside Mumbai. From Pune, I was heading Maharashtra for insurance company. And we started off the journey together, and we have realized this works amazingly well. Inborn is something which is truly special, and we all of us are born with. I'm sure all of you are Mumbaikars, so probably you must be understanding Marathi a bit. You must have heard, maybe a statement or a phrase, "जित्याची खोड मेल्या वाचून जात नाही." Have you heard this?
No.
No? I think all our videos are off, even mine. I could not see myself also. Okay, I could see myself. All right. So it is said, when it comes to our habits, okay. Snehalata madam, I think you understand Marathi, right? Snehalata madam, could you understand Marathi?
Yeah, she has just come down from London.
Okay.
So her Marathi must be weak now.
No, I don't think so. Maybe Bengal is going to the world. We'll never forget the Bengalis, right? So it is often said that our habits, our behaviors, okay, by birth are generally difficult to change. Okay, but with efforts, we can certainly make the changes in ourselves. And we know so many people, they are developing themselves on various parameters. There are many entrepreneurs, those who start understanding themselves maybe post 50s, and then also they are comfortable in making the changes required. So as a requirement of the subject, my wife, she has done a clinical psychology, and then I joined an organization which is based in California, and it works exclusively onto emotional intelligence, and so I'm having a fellowship of it. So while we work for the employees, senior people, I'm also additionally qualified for students version, which is called a youth version in EQ. Then, we are pioneers in introducing this dermatoglyphics test across Maharashtra. When I started it off, there were very few, hardly about 5-6 people, and we were spreading this concept. And since I hail from Vidarbha originally and traveled extensively across Maharashtra, I always had a wish that we should have our centers in multiple locations of Maharashtra. And that's how we started off this journey and spread the business right from Nagpur to Mumbai and then up to Kolhapur this side. We have centers in Baroda and Ahmedabad also. Now, this was one of the biggest and very prestigious project that we did in 2019. This is a medical university. Probably many of you must have heard about this. This is placed in Wardha, which is near Nagpur. And this is a medical university, Datta Meghe Institute of Medical Sciences. It's a deemed medical university. So we have 6 medical colleges here. That is medical, dental, physiotherapy, nursing, Ayurveda, even pharmacy also. So we have tested all the students out in this university. And this work was given to us by the management because we are connected to their schools from last 10 years almost. Now, in my presentations, my major thrust will be onto the dermatoglyphics presentation, because maybe we can have another sessions on different topics. But when I speak about dermatoglyphics, it's about our inborn strength and weaknesses. That I will, come on the later in this presentation. We also, we are actually having regular career counseling, career guidance into our center. And like today I'm here, but my office is on. Tomorrow also my wife is working. And this is the time where everybody is looking forward for selecting a career, appropriate career, maybe for their children, grandchildren. Even the students are also very anxious about choosing a right career for themselves. So when we speak about careers, what happens, that also I'll take a quick through PPT. I am going little faster to save your time. I am comfortable. Wherever you feel like, please feel free to ask me a question. Mr. Roy?
Yeah, you're perfect.
Yeah, okay. Because if I keep on telling too many things, probably that will go, everything will be overboard because this subject is new for all, right?
True,
So
true.
I'm trying to give at best information possible, right?
Yes.
Then assessment for employees, like freshers, youngsters, middle-aged people. There are many. Like I think at any age, everyone is struggling for going to the next level. So I often say how we can support people. So many a times in a one sentence, I often say I can help you understand your strength and weaknesses as well as your multiple intelligences, which have brought you up to where you are today, and also the hindrances which are stopping you from going ahead. Because there must be some hindrances which stops us, right? For example, if I take an example of Ambani family, Mukesh Bhai, all of us we know, and we also know the story of Mr. Anil Bhai, right? So what is this all about? When they are, they are born by the same parents, one is struggling and another one is flourishing every day. And this is what we can see. And even most importantly, um, you know, life is not really good for anybody in this world if we think that way, and if we think it is best for everyone. Why I'm saying so? Because Ambanis and Adanis, they have their own competitions. कि आज मैं आगे कल तू आगे, right? So they are worried for their life also. At that level also they are struggling, right? So contentment is something which gives us most. I remember when Mr. Reynolds Roy say, I was asking him, sir, what do you do? He said, Rajesh, this is my time to give back. So I highly appreciate, and that is the only statement which made me join this seminar, sir. Okay.
Nice.
So I highly appreciate when you said this, because I think yes, being content is something which is a sign of a fulfilled life. So we work on various parameters for employees where we give them different tests and also their inborn analysis, which can help us to help them to grow on the next level, identify their problems and also the opportunities. Then employee assessment, these are the uses. Then I'm also, as I told you about emotional intelligence, there are multiple tests. At the same time, the emotional intelligence will, it is called as a will, EQ will. It works on three parameters. That is know yourself, choose yourself, and give yourself. Now, when I say know yourself, it's all about be self-aware. Use you what? When you know yourself, you know your strength and challenges. When I speak about choose yourself, it says act with intention. Provide the how. It shows you how to take action, how to influence yourself and others. Give yourself is something which says connect your actions with your values, delivers the why. When you give yourself, you are clear and full of energy. Now, something to add here would be probably I think most of us are above below, beyond 50s, and maybe a couple of you are beyond 60s also. So we all had heard when we were student that IQ को improve नहीं कर सकते करके, right? It was said कि IQ constant रहता है, but please understand there are ways to improve IQ also now. Okay, there are some organizations which are exclusively working, which is very very मतलब they work on a stringent norm, and it is possible to develop that as well. But let me tell you a good news: EQ is something which is measurable and also developable. So we often say knowing is a bliss. If you know, you can develop it, right? Then this is my wife's activity completely. She is actually expert into Garbha Sanskar. So pre-conceiving, post-conceiving, it is something where, my wife is expert into this, and during the lockdown, it can be called as a blessing in disguise. So we have started all the activities online. I should go to the next slide. Yeah. So in this activity, she is involved into Garbha Sangeet, womb stories and parental education, Garbha Samvad, emotional balance, Garbha Dhyan, then brain development activities inside when the child is inside the womb, then Garbhini Yoga, because every yoga is not possible for the one who is pregnant, then fetus development. So she's having this expertise. She's MD Ayurveda as well as she is also a psychologist. That's all about our introduction as a part. Let me go to the next slide, which is about career guidance. I think this is where most of you are concerned. So I shall take career guidance first, and then I will switch on to the dermatographic slides. So for a while, may I request all of you to just share with me who are the people those who are looking for career guidance, maybe for students or maybe for grandchildren. Okay, Mr. Jihad Abbas, he has raised his hand. All right, sir. Okay. All right, Mr. Brian Fernandez. All right, I think Elsa madam also did that. Fine. All right. So let me take you through this small PPT. Okay. So okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
If I can interrupt you, just want to ask you, you have not mentioned about SQ.
Okay.
Because nowadays spiritual quotient, nobody, we are moving away from spirituality. Spiritual
I,
quotient is missing in our
okay.
lives.
So when it comes to spirituality, it's a part and parcel of those eight intelligences, okay, which are major. I will show you about all those eight intelligences.
Ah,
So that's a part of multiple intelligence. And spiritual quotient is one more quotient actually, which is a part of it. Actually, there are four quotients majorly. That is, EQ, IQ, CQ, and AQ. Spiritual quotient is something which we should nurture, develop, and the spirituality can also be found out from those intelligences itself.
yes, yes.
So spirituality is something, yeah, that everybody should nurture,
Yes.
and that is really a need of the time also, है ना?
As Indians,
Yeah,
we are traditionally from our,
absolutely, absolutely.
it's in our DNA.
It's definitely into our DNA. I think all the religions, those who are staying in this country, are following this. Some are the other kind of spiritualism, right?
Right,
We
right.
be Hindu, Christian, Muslims, Parsi, whoever we are,
Whoever,
we
yeah,
all of us are following some kind of spirituality here, right?
correct.
And I think it may not be here, it's everywhere, right? So spirituality is something. So I shall also tell you something. Our organization, that emotional intelligence organization, says that the generation which is going to lead 2030 onwards, the world after 2030, must be emotionally intelligent, and then only we will be able to survive. Okay, because if you see today's situation, let me say, uh, we are observing Mr. Putin, and then the reactions of Ukraine and UK and USA. Okay, and we also have somebody from Korea. Okay, the I'm just trying to forgot his name. अरे मुंह पर नाम उसका देखो अभी I'm just forgetting his name. Mm, the Korean emperor actually. Suddenly I forgot. I'll remember his name in some time. So he's the one who is actually having all his
Kim Jones.
Yes, yes. All right. Thank you. So he's always saying that he's having his missiles facing all the countries. Those who might trouble him, he will just press the button. But you know why he's not doing that? He's not doing so only because he also believes if at all he becomes a disaster for the world will go off. Okay. So it is very essential that our new generation must be emotionally intelligent. Okay. And also the organizations, all the organizations, they say, even if your EQ, your IQ is less, that is okay, but your EQ should be good. You know why? Because most of the organizations today, they are working onto the ISO standards, and generally the companies have set their standard as well as their practices. Okay. So the standard operating procedures are also decided by the corporate companies. And if you have people with higher IQ, they will try to poke their nose somewhere. They will try to suggest something which is also required, okay, but not every time. So if an organization has to run or grow or develop, they need to follow the EQ system first, not the IQ, right? IQ can be taken into consideration when it comes to the developmental part, maybe statistical part, research part. That is something it can be worked with, right? So anyways, I think that will, most of the things will come during my presentation when I go in details, okay? So we'll just have a look at our career streams and all. We offer, say, we are always introduced to each other by our professions. We have added only 4. There are so many hundreds of professors there. Okay, then I'm a doctor, I'm a designer, I'm an engineer, I'm a teacher, and whoever, right? We generally speak about our name and then we speak about our qualifications or our profession, right? it is often, you see, we are known by the profession that we pursue. Work is a major source of our personal identity, and throughout our life we are working to become, to become somebody, so that it should give us an identity who we are. Making a career choice is actually very critical, but we often see people choosing the careers because somebody has said it, because somebody suggested them. Okay, I have seen people, like yesterday I had one of my clients who were tested in 2021 January. This girl was into 9th standard then, and they had come to me to yesterday again. They said कि sir वो career का कुछ करना था. I want my child to go for UPSC examinations, and my relative has suggested her to go for BA, plain humanities. I was surprised to see, hear to this, because the aptitude as well as the inborn was not supporting completely to become a, really big, to pass out the UPSC examination. People are, I often surprised why people take things for granted. Passing out UPSC examination is not that easy. And if you look out for the number of people appearing for the examinations and passing, this number is very, very small. Okay. And if the people choose this kind of career because somebody has suggested, it is going to create disasters for them. Because if somebody has preferred to go just for, say, BA kind of, career, I hope I am being audible to all. Okay. Am I audible correctly? Not a problem?
Yes.
Right.
Everybody can hear.
Thank you so much. Because I had switched off my, minimized my video for having seen the entire screen. So what I was telling you, that this girl, I said कि अरे तेरे को अगर नहीं जमा, if you don't pass out your UPSC exam, then what? She said you suggest, then what? I said I cannot suggest you, then what? You have to choose it now, because if you take commerce, you have at least a chance to go to BBA after 12th, and simultaneously you can study for your UPSC examinations. Okay, you will be getting those 3 full years during graduation to go for classes for UPSC, which is minimum required. Okay, if a student would have chosen maybe an arts career, so if he or she does not pass the UPSC or MPSC examination, then what are the choices? Either go for post graduation into arts, maybe some language, I think, yes. Baliram sir, तुम्ही हात वरती रेस केला आहे. Sir, you want to say something? जोगदंडकर तुम्हाला सर बोलायचं, तुम्हाला की सर आहे, तुमचा आवाज सर येतो, तुमचा माईक सर म्यूट आहे. ओके, ऑल राईट, ओके, नो प्रॉब्लेम सर. तुम्हाला बोलायचं समजा असलं काही, तुमचा माईक तुमचा सर म्यूट करा, म्यूट आहे सध्या, त्याला ऑन करा प्लीज. सर तुम्हाला की बोलायचं आहे का जोगदंडकर साहेब? ऑल राईट, ठीक आहे, ओके, ठीक आहे. तुमचा माईक बंद आहे सर, तुमचा माईक बंद आहे. बळीराम सर, तुमचा माईक बंद आहे. खाली माईकची बटन आहे बघा, तिथे खाली स्क्रीनला टच करा, तिथे माईकची बटन आहे. I think he wants to ask something, maybe.
Yeah, he'll come back.
Okay, ठीक आहे सर, तुम्ही प्रयत्न करा, आपण परत बोलूया. मी तुमच्या प्रश्न उत्तर 100% देईल, काय अडचण नाही आहे मला. ओके, ऑल राईट. सो I have suggested this girl to take BBA after 12th, because I also had her inborn report with me, and the inborn report was talking about her abilities to go into the business or professions which are having entrepreneurship, because that's the kind of personality she has. Her IQ is average. Other than that, her couple of other areas also were not so strong. So going for UPSC requires a dedicated personality, where she has to focus for next at least about, say, 3 to 5 years time. Okay, it is not impossible because other people are passing it. Okay, but at the same time, we should have that basic kind of personality to appear and get through this test, right? So choosing a career, I would strongly recommend to anybody and everybody out here, please do not take chances. And when we talk about careers, because somebody has said, that's not all. Why this? Okay. Okay. This is the way we choose our career. Many a times parent wants their children to become somebody they could not either, or because they are there. For example, generally doctor parents want their child to become doctor to run their show and take the business ahead, okay, or the practice ahead. There are many friends, they come together and they look out for the maybe highly paid jobs or the trend, and then either the demand, and then they discuss within themselves, and then they think अपन ये करना चाहिए. So it is not that everybody has can go out in the same career. Everybody has a different personality. So ideally, I strongly recommend this is not the right way to choose a career, okay? Because right career selection is a combination of aptitude, interest, personality, and intelligence. In our aptitude test, these are different tests actually: verbal, numerical, spatial, analytical, mechanical, clerical, and these are the abilities, the closure abilities also there. These are different abilities, these are different 7 abilities test which we conduct, which are itself, each section is an independent test. So
Rajesh sir, if I will interrupt you, are you sharing screen now?
yeah, I'm sharing the screen. Is it not seen?
No, it is an acknowledgement. It is frozen at that level.
Okay.
That your original PDF file, no?
Wait. Okay, I stopped it. I'll restart it again.
Yeah. Now it has come.
Okay, so you hadn't seen the previous slides here?
No, nothing we have seen.
Oh my, I'm very sorry. Wait. Okay. This is. Okay. So these are my slides for career counseling. Okay. Generally, as I was mentioning, that we discuss about our personality, who we are. Then this is where I had mentioned that work is a major source of personal identity, and hence we are always working on becoming somebody, right? Then here I had mentioned making a career choice is very critical decision, because we should not choose career just because the parents are saying, or the friends are saying, or the highly paid jobs are there, or the demand is there. Okay, this is where I had mentioned. I'm very sorry, sir. Thank you for bringing it to my notice. Then generally the right way of choosing a career is not by what we have seen here. The right way of choosing a career is like this, where we should look out for a combination, okay, of aptitude, interest, personality, intelligence. And this is something which can help us to develop anything better, right? Because I think most of the people in the Zoom, I believe, many of you have seen your life much better. And all of us from age group, which is I think is 50 plus probably, we have seen life, and we have also noticed if things go right, any career gives money. Is that right or wrong, Mr. Roy?
Yes.
Right? Because
anywhere.
Any career can give you money, and no career can give you money provided if you are not good into that, right?
Absolutely.
So it's not only money, it should give you money, satisfaction, as well as growth also, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah. So this is what I was discussing about aptitude test. When we conduct aptitude test, the test is conducted with 7 kind of different sections: verbal, numerical, spatial, analytical, mechanical, closure, and clerical abilities. Okay, and each test is a different section. All right, and there is a countdown, which is a time as per the international timing is given there. The specific time has to be given for this test, and you have to complete the test within the specific time. If you could not do that, so no worries, leave it, because that is the required time, and that more only you are supposed to finish it off within the specific time only. Then in verbal ability, we get to know more about your linguistic intelligences by qualified. For example, if a Marathi medium student is appearing a examination here, and if the English abilities are not so well, then he or she has to pursue it better, because we are able to identify whether the child is doing well or not. Okay. And if at all the linguistics are good, then there are some profession which can become very special for you if you are good at that, right? Then numerical reasoning, it is something which is always required into engineering, accounts, and finance kind of thing, and maybe to run, to make good money also numerical supports. Then spatial reasoning is something where the ability to mentally manipulate objects. It's all about, imagination, 3D objects. Okay, these are a requirement into designing best careers and all, even into medicine. Because like my father is doctor, he's no more practicing now. He's 87 years old. So, but when he was practicing, I remember the days, that was the time when there were not so many pathological tests required. Patient used to walk in, doctor used to use the stethoscope, scope and maybe a hammer and used to check the patients and give the medicines, right? But now what has happened? Mostly because they were able to identify many times the patient from their body language, they could identify what is happening to the patient, right? And today also there are many doctors, those who could easily identify what is happening from the spatial, that is, having seen the patients, right? Then comes your analytical reasoning. When I speak about analytical reasoning, it is something which is required for almost everything in life, right? You should be analytical, but if you are not, no worries. There are many other areas which other intelligence also can support you a lot, right? It denotes how quickly and accurately one can think. Good analytical reasoning forms foundation for success in many careers, that is civil services, science and economics. And hence I told you, the girl who had come to me yesterday, her analytical reasoning also was on the lower side. And because some of her relatives told her कि तू आर्ट्स ले ले और अगर कॉमर्स ले रही होंगी तो अकाउंट्स छोड़ दे, मैंने बोला भाई 11th में अकाउंट्स छोड़ देंगी ये तो क्या पढ़ेंगी बेचारी, है ना? कॉमर्स में कुछ तो पढ़ना चाहिए उसने. ऑलरेडी मैथ्स छोड़ दिया था because some other relative had told her. Okay, because and she said sir मेरा मैथ्स तो अच्छा था वैसे, but he said कि तू मैथ्स छोड़ दे. This is actually a misguiding to the children. And with maths and subjects like accountancy, like if I'm sure all of you must be knowing, many of you must be knowing, if you want to go in NM in Mumbai, for your BBA, you must have mathematics, even if you are having commerce during your 11th and 12th. If you left mathematics, you cannot appear for that entrance examination also there. Other colleges, yes, you can. Okay. Then comes to mechanical reasoning. This is highly required into engineering and technological careers. Okay. So the student, those who are not so well into physics, they need to develop either or leave it. Okay. Then interest inventory. Now this is something where you get a free time. The students get free time to decide onto their interest areas. Okay. This is again a test. We give interest areas, we find out the interest areas, and they then measure and give it back to them during their assessments. Okay. Or into the assessments. Then comes the personality test. Here we use the Holland's code, which is called as the Rysak personality. That is realistic, artistic, enterprising, and that is RAISCC. Conventional. Okay, these are different parameters, and when the parameters are measured, you get to know what kind of personality you have. Then comes your IQ test. IQ test actually measures how quickly you can learn maybe new things. That also supports you largely. If you are into science subjects, generally higher IQ supports you much better there. With little bit average or say above average IQ, you can manage your commerce also. In arts kind of things or humanities kind of thing, average IQ also supports because they have more of a theoretical studies, right? Then comes counseling. Yes, counseling is something which is very, very important, where we talk to the students along with their parents, either one-to-one in our office or online, because again, as informed, the pandemic has widened up the horizon for us, because everybody is online today. We are meeting today online, so even the counseling are also easily possible online, and it has crossed all the borders. Now during this lockdown, we could spread our business into multiple countries, into different locations, because of these online facilities, which people also has accepted and they have understood this. Secondly, since we are into this activity for last 11 years now, we understand what are generally the questions of the parents and we make them speak. Many times people are hesitant to discuss something. We say whatever we are discussing is within us. The counseling sessions are never recorded. Okay, they are very, very personalized, and it should not be recorded also, just because the counseling has to be very personal. So may it be a student counseling, may it be a couple counseling, may it be career counseling, whatever it is. Okay, because we give you the reports, and in the reports everything is well mentioned. Okay, so I think this is all from my side for the career counseling. If you have any questions here, I am open for discussion, or else I will switch on to the dermatography test PPT, which is, I think, very, very interesting, because all of us are born with certain kind of personality, okay, which I can mention here. So in the meanwhile, I'll just stop this for a while and I'll open the session in case if you have any questions here, okay. So I'm stopping my sharing the screen here, and in case whoever has questions, please open your cameras and discuss if you want to. Hello everyone, I hope you are there. Most of the cameras are off. Kindly switch on the cameras and come in front of one-to-one. Yeah, thank you, Susie ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So hello, ma'am. Yes, I am open for your questions. Please feel free to discuss. Okay, no questions.
No, there will be Shamira, that is Pragnya. Would you like to ask something? Because, and Samina Abbasi, I think you have specific.
Yeah, hi. I am here. I am very much here and I'm listening. Just that I couldn't switch on my cam, but I'm very much listening. I'm waiting for my son, in fact, our kids to, first put in their questions. And if need be, then we pitch in.
Okay.
But as a parent, Samina, you can put your question.
Yeah.
In fact, as a parent, no, as an individual, I would like to really put in a question that if someone is supposed to restart, my apologies, I can't put on the cam for now, but I'll just continue here. If at an age of about say 40, 42 that we are in, and if I'm looking to restart a career, I have been a food technologist and I have worked for Barclays Bank. And it's been about a 10 years gap, so if I need to restart my career, but I'm a little stuck as to where, when, how, because that 10 years is a long gap.
True.
So what would you suggest? What do I take up and how do I assess?
Okay, Samina ji, is it okay that we discuss this because this is a very, very personalized question? So should we take it one-to-one, or you're open for session here also?
I'm okay for the general discussion here, and then maybe I could get on a one-to-one with you once I need further more details down.
Yeah, perfect. No problem. See, when it comes to the career starting after a gap of say about 10 years or so, first of all, I can say what we can do, we can get your assessments done. Like, I think, is it okay if I take this question after the dermatologist presentation?
Absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
Okay, because that will also give you some more information about identifying and understanding self much better. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. Because I will certainly cover all the questions. That's not a problem. Okay. Anybody else has a question regarding this, aptitude test so far, or I shall go for the next presentation? Okay. Let me also tell you one more thing here. Generally, I often suggest parents that if the children are between say 9 to 12 standard, okay, or say between 14 to 20 years of age, you must undergo the inborn as well as acquired intelligence assessment, so that you get to know what are the strengths, what are the developmental areas, and also which is the area which can be nurtured and which should be left also. Because everybody cannot become Lata Mangeshkar and everybody cannot become Amitabh Bachchan, neither Sachin Tendulkar, right? So we have to find out, okay, what best we can do. And I think let me start with the next presentation. And after that, I will take questions for all of you. Samina ji, आपका भी सवाल का जवाब मैं definitely दूंगा मैं, okay? All right? I hope rest all of you are listening to me. So
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just sharing my screen again. So I'm sure all of you have you must have heard about this story, which is very popular. Okay, that for everybody, the same taste actually will not do. Okay, the taste has to go as per your strength and weaknesses by birth. For the elephant and monkey, the same taste of climbing the tree will be a absolutely nonsense, or maybe a very very selfish. So we should, these are the areas which are there into everyone, you can say, but everybody has a different, these are intelligences, okay, which are there into everybody, but we need to identify which one is there into me, which is my area where I am best. Okay. Key to successful relationship as well is understanding each other. So when I talk about our subject, or whenever I speak about this subject, I often say our company, about my company, in many of my write-ups into mails, I make a statement generally that we are building happy families around, because I strongly believe if parents understand kids, or first of all the couple understand themselves better, they can build a better family. If the couples is understanding their children, they will be able to nurture them well, grow them well, develop them well, help them where they require their help the most. At the same time, the children also will get to know my parents are understanding me the way they should, and hence the entire environment in the family will be very very comfortable. And a comfortable cozy environment in the family will always lead to success. And if at all there are some kind of miseries at times, they will have the courage to address this particular requirement. So a continuous good environment in the family leads to lots of successes. Even if you don't become Adani or Ambani, as a layman also you can live a good life. Maybe the disasters will be lesser in the family. At the same time, when I speak about couples, many a times what happens in the bigger cities, like say into Mumbai, Pune, and many other bigger cities, or into the even the smaller towns also, nowadays generally couple, both of them are working and everybody wants to grow, and in this race at times wife may feel, why मैं अकेले क्यों करूं यार, husband तू भी help कर मेरे को, because तू भी काम करता है मैं भी काम करती हूँ, right? So the equality is coming to this today, in the world today. So it is the time to understand each other and then grow, right? At the same time, there are so many females, I highly respect them, those who are still able to compromise their careers for the growth of their children, because they really want their next generation to go ahead and do something better, right? So this we say master your own life as well as relationship with dermatoglyphics. Okay. Now we say, is it really important to know about ourselves and others in the family? The answer to this is yes. Okay. Dermatoglyphics is the scientific study of fingerprints, where derma means skin and glyph means patterns, and is based on the research scientists who started working in 16th century. The first scientist who worked on this, his name was Marcello Malpighi, and his lifespan was 1620 to 1694. So it is no more new science, it's a very very old technology, and the medical experts, they found that there is a neurological link between fingerprints and in the brain. Okay. And in 1926, Dr. Harold Cummins has been awarded the degree called as Father of Dermatoglyphics, and the subject then actually came into existence, and people started working on this. However, since it is very personalized, it is taking a longer time. The awareness can be created among the crowd, but the counseling is generally very very independent. Okay, so while we are taking shape in the mother's womb, fingerprints and brain neocortex, they form simultaneously during 13th to 21st week of pregnancy. Fingerprints are unique, which we have always heard, we all know, and they are not even common for the twins. And all the people across the globe, all this 800 crore people are there on the globe, no two persons have the similar fingerprints so far. Okay. When it comes to our brain, when it comes to our brain, thank you dear. So I hope you could see the entire screen. Maybe I am seeing the upper line there, but when I speak about left brain, right brain, we have specified functions into the left and right brain. The brain is like, if I consider my two hands like this as a brain, the entire brain is just it is just like a so small piece. It's a small piece like a meat, but it has been divided into two parts with a thin line. one is left brain, another is the right brain. So the fingerprints, when I speak about fingerprints, our thumbs are connected to your prefrontal lobe, and the frontal lobe is connected with index fingers. Middle fingers are connected to your fine motors and gross motors. Ring fingers are connected to your temporal lobe of your left and right brain, and the small fingers are connected to your occipital lobe. The function for that is visuals. Okay, and when you can just have a look at visual, audio, and tactile. These three centers are connected from those three centers, three fingers on both the hands. The small finger, ring finger, and the middle finger. Okay, so they give the input to the brain. What you see, what you hear, and what you do, that gives input to the brain, which goes to the index finger, which is connected to the frontal lobe, where we think about it logically and also we can also imagine about this. And then the action comes from your thumbs, which are connected to the prefrontal lobe. Okay, it actually coming from brain, not from the thumb, but the centers are connected from here. Okay, so the input and output, okay, is very, very important when the children are studying. You know why? Because all of you probably must have heard that from last 10-15 years, the school have changed the pattern of teaching in the school. The schools are also having audio systems as well as video systems to show. The purpose is when a child looks at it and also hears it, he or she is able to recollect it better. But there is one more pattern that is called as a tactile. Those who are higher kinesthetic students, they need breaks in between. So if you ask a child who is kinesthetically very strong to sit at one place for 2 hours or 3 hours, trust me, after 45 minutes, the entire interest is lost. If the child is smaller, in between 25 to 30 minutes, the entire interest is lost. If a child who is highly visual, if you ask this child to read loudly, trust me, you are reducing the speed by at least about 6 times minimum of reading speed by 6 times, because highly visual intelligence वाला बच्चा जो है जितने टाइम में 100 पेजेस पढ़ सकता है, शायद auditory learner can probably read at the most about 10 or 15 pages. That big difference is there. So you should be able to mark typically who is visual, who is auditory, and who is the tactile movement. Okay. Then when it comes to thinking and action, it's all about your prefrontal and frontal lobe. It's also connected to your meticulousness and promptness. So some people, they are higher meticulous and few of them are more prompt. Okay. So now what happens if you are higher prompt? Generally, you are in a haste of doing things faster, quicker. May the result could be anything. Later you might think, yaar, bahut jaldi kar diya maine. Okay. If at all you are higher, meticulous, probably you are not able to take a decision only, and you are trying to become more perfect. Okay. और करके देखते हैं, और सोचते हैं, और एक बार करके देखते हैं. And you are not going for taking a decision, right? So people ask, what is good? I often say, there's nothing which is good, bad, or ugly. You should know it. If your prefrontal is stronger, generally your tendency is mostly towards taking a faster decisions. If your frontal lobe is stronger, then you might take a decision at later age. Okay, later time you might take more time for this. Or if it is balanced, then you have a capacity to think rightly. Now what happens? Many a times you must have seen children, those who answer all the questions at home correctly, and when you go to the school for maybe open house, then you get to know, अरे यार इसमें तो बहुत कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया, बच्चा घर में आके सब बोल रहा था, यहाँ पर क्या हो गया, and then the parents start thinking कि मैडम ने बजाया होगा, स्कूल में प्रेशर होगा. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है दोस्तों. The teacher teaches every student similarly. They are not biased, they are all unbiased. Okay, but still the results are different. Okay, the results are different because your input patterns are different, your thinking, way of thinking is different, your action is different, and your imagination is also different, right? So this is something which comes from a different part of our brains. This brain and the brain anatomy is connected into this subject, limited up to those intelligences. Okay. Now we often say garbage in and garbage out, we have always heard. So if the input is correct, then output also will be correct, right? Information is processed 3 ways, that is speed, style, and input pattern. And this is what I had mentioned about visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Okay. Action, thinking, tactile, auditory, and visual. in the reports, you get such kind of percentages for every intelligences. Okay. And this is coming typically from your fingerprints. And it works so well that we are able to identify a person on the basis of such kind of intelligences. And it is very easy to identify the strength and weaknesses from here, provided all the fingerprints are into normal patterns. Normal means generally we call whorls and loops. Most of the people have these patterns on the higher side. Some people have maybe the arcs, some people also do radial kind of things. And for any kind of thing, we understand people, we help them understand, and we often say we work on normal people. If at all there is any medical deformity, we generally suggest them to go to a psychiatrist. For all others, we are able to do the right counseling for them on the basis of inborn, as well as according to that, we also connect with them with some acquired tests. Okay. Now, I hope you could see the upper part of the screen. That is, loop is there. Okay.
Wall.
Loop, walls. Could you see the entire screen there?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Perfect. Because for me, I have that upper bar there, so I could not see the upper part. I hope you could see this. Okay. So, imitative, cognitive, open learning, and reverse thinking. These are the 4 different patterns in the personality. It's like imitative are called where you have more loops. Okay. In this loop, you can see a flow has gone to one side and it has a delta, that's a triangle on one side. For the radials, it is on the reverse side. For cognitive, you have a center, that's a dot in between, which is like a bullseye, and a delta, that's a triangle on 2 sides. They are called as whorls. So in Marathi, we call them Shankha and Chakra majorly. Okay. And there's one more important pattern called as arc. Arc is open learning. So if some people have arc onto specific centers, we generally discuss about arc. If arc is not there, we don't even need to discuss or ask you what kind of person you are, what kind you have, but we can tell you more about you rather. Okay. So wherever there is an arc, we have to probe some questions. Okay. And if the arcs are more than 6 or so, then we generally suggest not to go for this report. We can go for different reports. Okay. Then there are different personality patterns. Okay. So we must have heard about this profiling. This is an inborn disc. Okay. Dominant, influential, steady, and compliant personality. So you should look at this like, a dominant personality is specialist of control. Influential personality is specialist of communication. Steady personality is specialist of harmonizing. And the compliant personality is specialist of information. And accordingly, you should look at this chart. What they want result, they want people, stability, and accuracy. These are different personalities. So it can be mapped from the different personality patterns. Okay. All right. If you see this, a dominant father, maybe and a steady child. Okay. And you can replace this particular picture with a couple's picture as well. You decide who's dominant and who's steady. Okay. So no harsh feelings. Oh, it is there, right? Introvert and the extrovert. Okay. So these are the personality patterns. All right. It is not necessary only the females are extrovert. Many a times males are also extrovert and female could be introvert, right? So,
But why did you, Dr. Rajesh, why did you use the word peacock there
sorry?
in the
Oh.
previous slide?
Yes. Who asked this question? Mr. Reynolds, you asked this question?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Peacock is a personality pattern. That's a fingerprint pattern actually.
Okay.
Yeah, peacock is, even in peacock, it comes in the whorl category only. But the fingerprint looks like a peacock's eye. Hence it's called as a peacock pattern. Okay.
Okay.
And peacock pattern also called as a king of fingerprints patterns. Okay. It is extraordinary. Peacocks are highly influential. Okay. So we say with everything that we buy nowadays, may it be a pencil sale or may it be a mobile or computer, we get manual. Okay. Do we get such manual with the child? Okay. When it is born, you never get it, right?
No.
Probably God gives all the mothers the most powerful machine on this earth, right? And there's no manual. The parents, grandparents, family, or the senior siblings, they have to understand by the way of behavior of the child. Okay. And many earlier times when we must be at a very, very younger age, probably family size was bigger. People had enough time to spend together. Nowadays, in the nuclear families, you don't have too much of time, friends, right? So we all are struggling to understand our children, and many parents, they feel they can fulfill the wishes of the children just by getting something very expensive for them or getting something which they have asked for. Trust me, you never know what they really want, because many children could not even ask for what they really need. At times they need your time. At times they want you to play with them. At times they are actually suffering with some kind of stress, and they could never discuss with you, because even the small child can think, "Yaar, Papa already tension mein, main aur tension Papa ko kyun badhau?" Hai na? Life could be difficult for anybody, right? So, okay, this is where I am. Let me remove my slide from here. So I say, do you get a manual to manage individual brains, like your brothers, sisters, whoever? Okay. So dermatographics is the assessment which helps you understand about your inborn and inborn strengths and weaknesses. Oh, I think from my side on the slides part, I'm over. I shall stop my slides here, and now I would request each one of you to please switch on the videos, okay, so that we can maybe have a good round of question. And trust me, every question is welcome. And I request each one of you to ask me any question you feel like. Every question is good question. There's no bad question, no ugly question, okay? And no question is a foolish question. Every question is okay for me, okay? Because we have developed this concept, we have spread this concept across Maharashtra. I am also having my friend who has come here from Gujarat. So we have centers in Ahmedabad and Vadodara also. So trust me, when we started promoting this concept, since we are pioneers for this across Maharashtra, wherever I was going for different session, I have requested people to ask these questions, because sometimes people say, "Yaar, log kya bolenge, magar log hasenge to nahi mere ko." So I often say, let people laugh if they are laughing. There's no point in laughing at this, because your question probably might be there with somebody else's question. Even they